Welcome back to the Legacy Podcast. My name is Olisya Grant, co-founder of Matrix Legacy, Inc. We are back for episode number 21. This is the show where we create a blueprint for success. We look for ways to create generational wealth, and we break those chains of a poverty mindset. Now, that last point is very important, breaking those chains of a poverty mindset. Something I always used to hear growing up is the rich get richer. And there is a lot of truth to that little quote. And the reason it's true, the reason the rich get richer is because they've been able to master the art of systems. They understand that there's a specific formula to get from point A to point B. So success is really a habit. It's a collective of systems that you implement and just do the same thing over and over again in order to get to where you're going. For those of you who don't know, systems really stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. So on today's show, we're going to be talking all about goals and systems. There are systems for absolutely everything. There's a school system, a health system, an immune system, business systems, etc., etc. There are everything around us is some form of system. But there's two sides of the fence. One side of the fence is working for the system. Meanwhile, the other side of the fence has found a way to make systems work for them. So for example, when I went to university, unfortunately, because I didn't know this information, the system used me. Because the system is built to create really good employees to push the narrative of the big corporations, right? We need good employees to run these big businesses. I've spoke about that before. However, a lot of us get sucked in with the lure of, if you get this good degree, you're going to have a great life, even though there's no promise at the end of any type of good job or anything like that. However, if we really knew how to work the system, how to have the system work for us, we would understand that our net work is our net worth. So a lot of times, for me especially, I would go to class with my head down, just get the notes, take the test, get out of there. But what I didn't realize is I was surrounded by individuals who were pursuing a better lifestyle for themselves, who were choosing the path and running towards the path of success. So those people, if I had really taken the time to build relationships with, I could reach out now and we could collaborate. We could build something, we could create. But I didn't realize that I had to decide to make the system work for me. And so that's an opportunity that I missed out on. So if you're going back to school, if you're currently in school, taking some classes, whatever that means, if you're in a space with other like-minded individuals, really search and find a way to make meaningful relationships, because the people that you have in your network are going to be able to open the doors for opportunities and collaborations and whatever you could think of somewhere down the line if you take the time. The system was already built to attract great people. That's why you're going to school, because you want to get to that next level in your life. So it's already built to attract great people, but the great people they're attracting is to go work for these big corporations. If we take advantage and we create a network of great people for ourselves, then we're setting ourselves up for long-term success. So what I really want to go through today is the difference between goals and systems, and really just talk about the different ways that we can make systems work for us instead of working for the system all the time. Now, goals are something we're all familiar with. We're told, set your short-term goals, set your long-term goals, and reach them. I don't know about you, but there's been far too many times where I've set a goal that I haven't been able to reach. I just haven't been motivated to get there, even though I was extremely motivated when I set the goal. The reason for that is, if we're setting a goal for ourselves, that means there's one point in time where we would have reached exactly where it is that we want it to be. But all of the time leading up to that, we're in a position of failure, because until you complete your goal, you haven't been successful. So all of this time we're in a failure state, working towards the goal, and then we finally get to the goal, and it's really not that rewarding. It's really like a moment of, okay, great. My goal was to lose 10 pounds, so I lost it. Woohoo, celebrate, and then it's done. Now I got to set another goal to walk a certain amount of steps or to lose a certain amount of weight. And so I keep ending up spending the majority of my time in a failure state and just a brief moment in success. Now, if we flip that on its head and we look at the system is what we do on a day-to-day basis to create that long-term success. So if we look at stick on the topic of fitness goals. If the goal is to lose 10 pounds, then the system has to be that I'm working out for 30 minutes every day and going for maybe a 30-minute walk. 30 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes of walking, and that is my system. So every single day that I do those 30 minutes of workout and that 30 minutes of jogging or walking, I am successful every single day that I complete that task. Now, in the long run, I'm still going to meet my goal. I'm still going to be able to lose weight because I have put something in place every single day to push towards, and now I'm succeeding every day and I'm making success a habit. Let's look at it from a financial standpoint. If your goal is to save $10,000 by the end of the year, if you don't have a system in place that says every single day or every single week, this is what I need to earn or this is what I need to put away, then your chances of actually reaching that goal are slim to none. Because what you're gonna let all of this time pass. Let's say you set the goal back New Year, new me. By the end of the year, I saved 10K. You're going to spend all of that year. The goal is going to be in the back of your mind, but that entire year, you're in a failure state until you reach that $10,000 goal. But if every day your goal was just to put $5 into a savings account, or at the end of every month, you would have put $500 away, whatever that looks like for you. Now you've created a success system, a habit of successfully completing a task every single day. So this is not discounting goals. Goals are very important and they tell you where you're going. But if you just set a goal and you don't have a specific action plan in place, then what's the point? We've got to know what we want to get done and put specific action steps in place in order to get there. And knowing how to get there all comes back to the systems that we've put in place. So for example, when I say we've got to find a way to have systems working for us instead of us working for the system. Again, we'll bring this back to money because I know a lot of you who listen to this are really looking for ways to create wealth in your life. So let's hop back into another money example, okay? So there's a system of interest when it comes to finances and investing and anything to do with money. Now, there's the getting paid side of interest, or there's a paying side of interest. So those of us who are working for the system are on the paying end. We use more space on our credit card than we can afford, and every single month we are paying out interest. Or we haven't been mindful enough to check our credit score and keep it intact. So when we apply for a mortgage or a car lease or anything like that, the interest that we have to pay is significantly higher than somebody who has taken the time to take care of those things, versus those who have found a way to have the system work for them. They are getting paid in interest. So they're making investments in companies and in vehicles that they know are going to give them a return on their money. So they're not paying any interest because they're getting paid out in interest. And this all starts with the very basics of understanding how to create wealth in your life. Do not spend more than what you make and have your money go to work for you. So again, going back to the quote unquote rich get richer. So a rich or a wealthy person is going to say, okay, I'm going to take $100 out of every paycheck I receive and I'm going to invest it in a place that's going to collect interest for me. I'll put it in a space where I can get compounding interest. So my $100 will gain interest. And then next month, my $100 plus the interest that I gained last month is going to gain interest, and it's going to keep building. Versus somebody who is working for the system will say, I'm going to put $100 away in a piggy bank or in a savings account, and I'm just going to let it sit. So my $100 next month is still going to be $100. By the time I get to next year, it's no longer going to be $100 because our little friend inflation is going to take its turn with that $100 that we just put away. And so we truly have to understand how to have systems work in our favor. If we look at McDonald's for an example, I don't eat there, but McDonald's has a absolutely phenomenal system. There's a reason that they've been at the top for as long as they have been. You can go to any McDonald's in any part of the world and you can expect the same French fries were dropped in the fryer for, let's say, 60 seconds at 375 degrees, and you are going to get the same French fry regardless of where you go because they put a system in place. That's why they're able to serve millions of customers every day. Meanwhile, some of us our days are just passing us by. Every time we look up, it's like, whoa, my day is done already and I didn't get anything done. And the reason is because we haven't put a system in place. We've set a goal, but because we're constantly in that state of failure, then it's so much harder for us to stay motivated to keep chugging along to the next checkpoint. So instead of making our life into a series of goals, instead we put specific systems in place, so every single day we can find success. Every single day that I'm working towards writing a book, instead of focusing on the goal of writing the book, I say every single day I will sit down and I'll write 500 words. So at the end of whatever time period I've set for myself, I still would have reached the goal. However, I was focusing on the system and having little wins every single day. I built up my success muscle. I built up that success habit. So my goal is met by default. So my call to action on this one, and I know somebody is going to resonate with this. If you are at a point where you are working your butt off, you've probably got multiple jobs or multiple side hustles, and somehow there is still too much month at the end of your money. Somehow you still can't get ahead on your bills. You still can't go on that trip you want. You still can't make that investment in yourself. This means that something has gone wrong in your system. And I can say that because I've been in this position before. I just had specific money goals, but I didn't have a system. I wasn't tracking what I was doing. I had, money going out that I couldn't even account for because there was no system in place. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to borrow the system of somebody who's already found success. A lot of us just inherit the systems of our parents, not realizing that our parents don't know how to do any more than they were taught. So they taught you the best that they knew how, but they didn't necessarily know the right way. And so it's your responsibility, if you're trying to get ahead and you're trying to provide and you're trying to grow, borrow the system of somebody who is already finding success where you want to find it, until you're able to create a system for yourself. Your goals will still get met. If your goal is to make X amount of dollars throughout in a year, find somebody who's already made that amount of money in a year. Find out what their system is. What are they doing every single day to get there? You find some version of that for yourself and you work that system until you find a system that you think that you can customize or that really fits better with what you have going on. But if you are constantly doing the same thing and getting the same result, which is not the one that you want, then it's time for a change. If you constantly don't have enough time in your day, if you constantly don't have enough money to do the things that you want to do, then something is flawed. Something is wrong, something is broken, and nobody can fix it but you. So this is essentially the building block of the day. Yes, set your goals, but focus on the systems and find a way to make sure that the system is working for you and not just you working for the system. The rich get richer because they've mastered the system and they've just passed it along generation to generation, and that is why the rich get richer. And so if you're looking to do the same thing, just find the systems that are working and work them. Work the system. You don't always have to be on the paying side. Find a way to get on the get paid side. Because the reason you're not getting the outcome that you're looking for is because you're not changing the input. You keep putting the same thing in and hoping for a different result, and that's not how it works. So your input has to change, and your input is the system. And the system that you put in place day after day, accomplishing your way to achieving your goal, is how you get a different outcome, how you make a change for yourself, for your family, for your lifestyle, whatever it is that you're looking for. So if you resonated with this, I'm sure somebody you know will resonate with it as well. So send it to one friend. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and subscribe, leave a comment. If you're listening on any other platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google, anything like that, go ahead and leave a review. And for those of you who are looking for more inspiration or some motivation and some tangible tools and resources to start building wealth into your life, you can download the Matrix Legacy app. We update it frequently, and it's a place to really keep you on track to make sure that you're reaching all of your goals by creating the success habit. So I will be here next week with another building block for success. Until next time, let's build a legacy.